So today we'll be working in my workbook called Saul, Israel's First King. This is the second workbook I have on the book of First Samuel, and this covers chapters 8 through 15. And looking at the table of contents, we've already completed the first three chapters. In chapter 1, Samuel is the leader of Israel, and the people are not happy that they don't have a king. So they ask Samuel for a king, and Samuel's not happy because that means they're rejecting God. God tells Samuel, let them know what it's like to have a king, and if they still want a king, we'll let them have a king. And the people still want a king despite all the opposite problems that Samuel says will happen. And so in chapter 2, Saul is chosen to be king. And now, basically, in this chapter, Saul has no pre-understanding he's going to be king, of course, and he's looking for his donkeys. He's just from the clan of Benjamin, from the tribe of Benjamin. He's looking for his donkeys. He comes upon the town of Ramah, where Samuel is. Samuel already knows it's Saul that's supposed to be king, and so he invites him to the feast that they're going to have for a sacrifice, and then tells him he's going to be the next king of Israel. Saul is not really excited about that. He does prophesy some because he's with, and the Holy Spirit comes upon him, but he's still very resistant to it. So now in chapter 3, Samuel goes through a whole process to let the people know that's who God had decided on. So they're all the people are brought to Mizpah in clans, and through casting lots, they come to Saul being the next king of Israel. And Saul is not there. He's hiding among the supplies because he doesn't want to be picked as king. He figures if he's not there, he won't be picked. But he is still picked. And so the people realize that Saul is going to be the next king. And they say, great that he's the next king. So now we're going to be in chapter 4. Saul rescues the city of Jabesh. And this is 1 Samuel chapters 11, verses 1 through 15. Nahash the Ammonite went up and besieged Jabesh Gilead. And all the men of Jabesh said to him, make a treaty with us, and we will be subject to you. Find Jabesh Gilead, underlined. Okay, here's Jabesh Gilead. Sometimes this town is simply known as Jabesh in Gilead. Gilead is a fertile area on the right side of the Jordan River. Find Ammon. Underline that. Okay. The Ammonites were a tribe of people that existed in the area prior to the Israelites and fought with the Israelites frequently. Since Nahash was an Ammonite, draw a line from Ammon to Jabesh Gilead. Who's the leader of the Ammonites that lead an army up to Jabesh Gilead? Nahash. To prevent war, what did the men of Jabesh offer? They said, make a treaty with us, so we'll be subject to you. The Ammonites did not believe in God of Israel. Do you think God would want the people of Jabesh Gilead, an Israelite city, to be subject to them? No. Why or why not? Because they don't believe in God, and then they force the idea of idolship onto Jabesh Gilead. But Nahash the Ammonite replied, I will make a treaty with you only on the condition that I gorge out the right eye of every one of you, so bring disgrace on all Israel. What is the origin of the Ammonites? Ben-Ami, the father of all Ammonites, was the son of Lot after he hid in the mountains with his 2 daughters. Lot was Abraham's nephew. Abraham is the father of all Israelites. Okay. What was the condition of the treaty? The condition was that he gorged out the right eye of all the men of Jabesh Gilead. And why the right eye is because in fighting, the right eye would be more, you would need the right eye to know distance and everything as far as fighting, so you couldn't fight back. Why was this a condition of the treaty? Um, to bring disgrace on all Israel. How are the Ammonites and the Israelites related? They both have Abraham as the original maker of both tribes. How likely were the people of Jabesh Gilead going to accept the conditions of the treaty? Well, I don't think it would be likely, but they're trying to think what they can do at this point. What do you think they will do? Well, since it's in the story of Saul, I wonder if Saul is going to have a part of their rescue. The elders of Jabesh said to them, "Give us 7 days so we can send messengers throughout Israel. If no one comes to rescue us, we will surrender to you." How many days did the elders of Jabesh ask the Ammonites to wait? 7 days. What were the elders going to do during these 7 days? Send messengers throughout Israel to see if they could find support. Did the elders tell the Ammonites this? Yes. What did the elders hope these messengers would be back with them? Rescue, help. If no one comes to rescue them, what are they willing to do to the Ammonites? Surrender to them and have their eyes gouged out. By surrendering to the Ammonites, what would this mean to all the men of Jabesh Gilead? Have their eyes gouged out. Do you think the Ammonites will be willing to wait to see if Jabesh is rescued? Why or why not? I wouldn't think so, but they do. I would think that no, we're here to attack you. We don't want your position to get any better. When the messengers came to Gibeah of Saul and reported these terms to the people, they all wept aloud. Just then Saul was returning from the fields behind his oxen, and he asked, "What is wrong with everyone? Why is everyone weeping?" Then they repeated to him what the men of Jabesh had said. Find Gibeah and underline it. Hello, Gibeah. Using the mileage key on the bottom, how far is it as a crow flies from Jabesh to, to Gibeah? Um, um, 20, 40, maybe 60, 80 miles as the crow flies. What main character lives in Gibeah? Saul. What was the reaction of the people of Gibeah when they heard the problems of Jabesh? They were upset and they were weeping. What had Saul been doing when the messengers had come to his hometown? He was returning from the fields with his oxen. When Saul heard these words, the Spirit of God came powerfully upon him, and he burned with anger. He took a pair of oxen, cut them in pieces, and sent the pieces by messengers throughout Israel, proclaiming, "This is what will be done to the oxen of anyone who does not follow Saul and Samuel." Then the terror of the Lord fell on the people, and they came out together as one. When Saul heard the words of the messenger, what happened to him? The Spirit of God powerfully came upon him. What did Saul send with messengers throughout Israel? Pieces of cut oxen. But that was the message that went with these oxen pieces. This would be done to the oxen of anyone who did not follow Saul and Samuel. Then the terror of the Lord fell on the people, and they came out together as one. The people of Israel all agreed to fight the Ammonites and rescue the people of Jabesh. When Saul mustered them at Bezek, the men of Israel numbered 300,000, and those of Judah 30,000. What town was Saul from? Gibeah. Underline Saul's hometown. Gibeah. Saul traveled from Gibeah to Bezek. Put an A next to this line. Okay. Okay. How many men of Israel gathered there ready to fight? Israel, 300,000. How many men of Judah gathered there ready to fight? 30,000. So how many men total were gathered there to fight? 300,000 and 30,000. 330,000. Assuming the messengers came to Gibeah the same day they left Jabesh, how many days maximum did it take to muster all these men? 7 days? They told the messengers who had come, "Say to the men of Jabesh Gilead, by the time the sun is hot tomorrow, you'll be rescued." When the messengers went and reported this to the men of Jabesh, they were elated. They said to the Ammonites, "Tomorrow we will surrender to you, and you can do to us whatever you like." Did the men of Jabesh Gilead get the word of the pending rescue? Yes, indeed they did. Based on their description about what time of day will the rescuers of Jabesh come? By the time the sun is hot tomorrow, so probably noon. Using the mileage key on the map of the prior page, about how far is it from Bezek to Jabesh Gilead? So let's look. Looks like about 20 miles. Did the men of Jabesh tell the Ammonites of the pending attack? Well, no, absolutely not. What did they tell them instead? That tomorrow we will surrender to you. It is interesting that the Ammonites have waited patiently for the end of the 7 days. Some possible reasons are listed below. Circle which ones might be a reason for their patience. A, the disgrace of Israel is more important than killing them. Okay, that makes sense. B, they don't want to lose any men in the fight. That makes sense as well. C, they are cowards. I don't think that's true. And D, they want to fight more Israelites, and that might be possibly true as well. The next day, Saul separated his men into 3 divisions. During the last watch of the night, they broke into the camp of Ammonites and slaughtered them until the heat of the day. Those who survived were scattered so that no 2 of them were left together. So Saul started his troop of 330,000 men early the next morning. Since it's roughly 20 miles from Bezek to Jabesh, they could have traveled that distance in about an hour. There are 4 night watch times: evening, which is sunset to 9, midnight, 9 to midnight, rooster crow, midnight to 3, and morning, 3 to sunrise. Last watch of the night would be 3 to sunrise. How many divisions did Saul separate his men into? 3 divisions. If divided equally, how many are in each division? 110,000. The last watch of the night is called the morning watch. What period of time was this? 3 a.m. to sunrise. What do we know about the Ammonites that survived the battle? There were no 2 of them that were left together. Then the people said to Samuel, "Who was it that asked, shall Saul reign over us? Turn these men over to us so that we may put them to death." But Saul said, "No one will be put to death today, for this day is the Lord has rescued Israel." The people are talking about the scoundrels written about in 1 Samuel 10:27, who refused to accept Saul as their king. What do the people want to do with those who did not originally believe in Saul? They want to put him to death. The people who are speaking are from what city? Jabesh Gilead. What is Saul's response to the people's request? There'll be no killing today of Israelites. Who does Saul credit with rescuing Israel? The Lord rescued Israel. At this point, Saul seems to be a king fully directed by God. Which events have happened to or about Saul to let us know he is blessed and directed by God? A, God told Samuel to anoint Saul. That is correct. B, Saul prophesied with the band of prophets. That is correct. C, God changed Saul's heart. That is correct. D, Saul went to a high place to worship. That is correct. Sort of correct. E, Saul was chosen by Lot to be a king. That is correct. The power of God came over Saul. That is correct. Saul credits God for Jabesh's rescue. That is correct. Saul grew 3 arms. That is not correct. Does Saul seem to be a good leader or a bad leader at this point? Good leader. Why? Because he is doing what God has called him to do, and he is taking care of his people. And Samuel said to the people, "Come, let us go to Gilgal and there renew the kingship." So all the people went to Gilgal and made Saul king in the presence of the Lord. There they sacrificed fellowship offerings before the Lord, and Saul and all the Israelites held a great celebration. Whose home is at Gibeah? That would be Saul's. Who gathered at Bezek? 330,000 Israelites. Who traveled on the route designated with A? Saul and the 330,000 Israelites. Who traveled on the route designated with B? Saul and 330,000 Israelites. So just Saul went up to Bezek, and at Bezek, then he got the 330,000 Israelites. They all traveled over Jabesh Gilead. What two nationalities fought at Jabesh Gilead? The Ammonites and the Israelites. From Jabesh Gilead, where did all the people go? Gilgal. 3 things happen in Gilgal. What are they? They're going to renew the kingship. They sacrificed fellowship offerings, and they had a great celebration. Which route had the most people traveling, A, B, or C? Probably C, because it includes Jabesh Gilead. So now we come to the crossword, which is the last part of this chapter. And okay, number 1, all the people went to the city to renew the kingship. That'd be Gilgal. Number 4, who besieged Jabesh Gilead? The Nahash. 6, Saul mustered men of Israel at what town? Bezek. 1 down. The messengers from Jabesh Gilead found Saul in what town? Gibeah. Who did Saul say rescued Israel? God or the Lord? 3, Saul and his army slaughtered them. The Ammonites. And 5, the elders of Israel asked Nabash for 7 days. So that's the end of this chapter. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you.